Today we have our dearest friend, Mr.
Abdulafeez Ojetola. Professionally, I am a creative enthusiast. I majorly do comic art and 2D animations as it stands. Not all animations are cartoons.
Okay.
Cartoons were coined from comedy.
Okay.
So they were tunes that were made to make you laugh.
Okay. So I want to know why Comic Con has not yet entered in Nigeria.
So in Nigeria, we don't have a hold on the long rope of animation yet and can comic books or geekdom. As a matter, so when I say geekdom, it encompasses everything.
Yeah.
We do not have a hold on geekdom enough to actually say we want to have a convention. But because we joined the race along the line, so we just have to do what the Western world. For heaven's sake, the first comic book colored was published 1933. Colored. Nigeria was 30 years away from independence. It was 27 years away from independence when in Gops Mama was published colored.
Good morning, guys. This is Prateek podcast, and we are at episode number 1. And today we have our dearest friend, Mr. Afeez.
Yes, so Abdulafeez Ojetola. Some people know me as Penzu, but my parents christened me Abdulafeez Ojetola.
I wanted to introduce you to the guest, but I think...
Yes, I think I did my introduction by myself.
yourself.
Yes, I have. After all this, I'm the first guest on the Prateek podcast. My name once again is Abdulafeez Ojetola, also known as Penzu. I am a comic artist, an animator, a motion grapher. I do quite a number of things, just a creative enthusiast as a matter of fact.
But where are you from?
I'm from Ibadan, or your state.
So guys, for everyone who's listening all over the world, Ibadan is a place in
Nigeria, yes, the southwestern part of Nigeria.
In Africa.
In Africa.
So what about your education?
So I grew up in the barracks, the military gathering. So my education started in 82 Diff in Enugu. And then I just been bouncing from one barracks to the other, just like barrack children do. So I did my primary school and secondary school in the barracks. Then my tertiary institution, my father had retired from the military. So I did that in Lautech, Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogbomoso, in also southwestern part of Nigeria in Africa.
Then what about your family? Who all are there?
Yeah, so I am the first child of 4, 2 boys, 2 girls. The first. The last child is also a boy. Then, of course, 1 father, 1 mother.
What about your wife?
Yes, I have a wife, a beautiful woman as a matter of fact, and a boy of my own, my first child. My wife is also coincidentally from a family like my own. 1 father, 1 mother, 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls. My wife being the first child, the boys at the middle, the boys in the middle, and the last child, the girl, just like a direct opposite of mine, where the girls, the twins are in the middle, me the first, the boy the last. So my wife, she is the first, the girl is the last, the boys are in the middle.
But I hope you're a good husband.
Well, you have to ask my wife that.
Maybe next time we'll call her on the podcast. Sir.
I'm very sure my wife will be excited to be here.
So what about your current profession right now?
So as it stands, how do I even structure my profession? Professionally, I am a creative enthusiast. I keep using the phrase creative enthusiast because I tend to have dabbled in quite a number of things that had you asked me 5 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to say I do this. So I majorly do comic art and 2D animations as it stands, but I do a lot of graphic designers as well. As a matter of fact, I've been opportunity to do physical brandings. I have gone to printers. Opportunity has made me diversify even in ways I never saw myself getting to diversifying. So I've put my hands there and here. And sports another thing I would have loved to pick up professionally, but there's only so much a man can do with his time. It's just 24 hours. Thought that 24 hours is not enough for the busy man.
But can you help us explain your profession in a layman's language?
Holistic. So I do cartoons.
Okay.
I think cartoons is one thing when you tell people. In Nigeria today, a large proportion of the populace still do not understand when you say animation. Animation is something that moves, that has the attributes of an animal.
But it's not same like cartoon.
So cartoons are not necessarily animations because not all animations are cartoons.
Okay.
Cartoons were coined from comedy.
Okay.
So they were tunes that were made to make you laugh.
Okay.
So any animation that is not making you laugh is not a cartoon.
Okay.
So things that could be put under the umbrella of cartoons are Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, Wiley Sam, the Animaniacs. They were fashioned to make you laugh from comic relief, but about the word cartoon.
Okay. But like in your profession, how difficult or how is it easy to work with other professional guys? In terms of if you're working with any brand or any company or any client.
So let me take that one after the other. Work with other professionals in the creative space under the cartoon or under the animation umbrella. We still find it quite difficult to get talents, no matter how hard we try. As big as Nigeria is still, as at last time I checked, the 8th most populous country in the world. And if you start looking for talents to do adequate animation for you till today, you have issues.
Like what?
A lot of people have been given millions of dollars to actually put things together, and what they couldn't get was a talent.
Okay.
So we tend to say we can do it, but when it comes to the grand scale of let's have it done to the global standard, people back out.
Okay.
So we are basically still toddlers in this space.
But is it in Nigeria or is all over the world?
I've only had the opportunity to travel out of Nigeria once.
Okay.
And to an neighboring African country. So since I've not been part, I've basically been seeing the Western world from a television value.
Okay.
And internet value. So
Okay.
what I see is that they are way ahead. I think the closest thing we've had our contents in the animation space go out of Africa. We've had other opportunities, we've had other scenarios, but the biggest we've had is Iwaju. So Iwaju was aired this year. When I saw the documentary, the lady that came to, how will I put it, discuss with the pioneers of Iwaju was from Disney.
Okay.
Yes.
Disney US.
Disney US. So what the people set out to do was they wanted to create an animated show that would rival the Western world.
Okay.
Like I said, we've had scenarios before. We had Malaika. When Malaika came out, he won an award. But it still did not garner the momentum you would expect something like Malaika to garner. Ant Hill Studios. Shout out to Ant Hill Studios. They're doing a very, very good job. They're the best. There's no run out. That it is what it is. So, but when these guys came with Iwaju, Disney said, this is catching our attention. So instead of us letting this come and rival us, we can bring it under the umbrella. And Disney came and said, you have the talent, you have the skill, we have the money. Let's work together. And as I speak with you, Iwaju is the biggest, I say it anyway, beating my chest like King Kong. It is the biggest animated property, IP, that's come out of Nigeria.
Okay. But like how Disney US has different production houses all over the world.
Yes.
They don't have any production house in Nigeria.
Ant Hill is the biggest production.
Okay, that is the production house.
Ant Hill.
Okay. So in this profession, if I want to ask you, in terms of friendship, how close people are in this kind of friendship?
I think...
Or people like want to have a cutthroat competition to go ahead?
So the creative space, because
I know people are introvert in this space.
That is why we have more friends.
Yes.
So we are okay. I happen to not be one of those people who are the creative introvert. I'm an extrovert, and I'm very, very extroverted. So when you go to places like Comic-Con, me and you have been opportunity to attend the Comic-Con together.
Yes.
It was not noisy. If it had to be in other spaces, it would have been so rowdy that we would have enjoyed ourselves. But as much as we were, the people were so solemn, the tranquility was palpable. The gathering was of high quality because you got what you wanted to get. So the people in this space are actually looking to have friends. So it's an opportunity to have a friend that does what you do.
But when I talk about people in this space are introvert, but you are not an introvert.
Yes, I'm one of a very few people.
Okay, talking about Comic-Con, we went to Comic-Con I think 2 years back.
Yes, please.
But if you talk about Comic-Con in Nigeria, that too in Lagos, it is not the official Comic-Con. What they have in US or Dubai or other parts of the world. So I want to know why Comic-Con has not yet entered in Nigeria.
So as a matter of fact, I think it would have, I would say it was brazen of us to even say we can actually state Comic-Con in the first place. So comic convention is a convention that tells about makes you catch up with the history of comic books
and upcoming projects.
Thank you very much. Like you are getting aware, you are being made aware of the past, present, and future of comic, of geekdom, as a matter of fact. We do not have history enough in Nigeria to even stand up and say we want to have Comic Con.
But why is that?
But of course, we have contemporaries, we have people we are looking up to.
So is it that all the inspiration you're getting is coming from the outside world?
It is. It is.
So we don't have a history of our own.
We don't. The state of the art comic book in Nigeria is still less than 15 years.
Okay. Like, for example, like Japan has their own animation.
One Piece it has the highest amount of episodes. We have thousands
of pieces.
The people that started doing One Piece started in the 1980s.
Yes.
When they started One Piece, I have not been born.
Like they have manga. We don't have anything yet.
You see? So when you say, that's another thing, I think we will discuss that later, the concept of anime, how it came to be. So in Nigeria, we don't have a hold on the long rope of animation yet and comic books or geekdom. So when I say geekdom, it encompasses everything.
Yeah.
We do not have a hold on geekdom enough to actually say we want to have a convention. But because we joined the race along the line, so we just have to do what the Western world. For heaven's sake, the first comic book colored was published 1933. Colored. Nigerian was 30 years away from independence. It was 27 years away from independence when the Superman was published colored. So you see, so they have almost 100 years of kingdom. So that is why you have people like, you have cities, San Diego Comic Con, Michigan has its own, New York Comic Con, and they have its own Comic Con because it is. Did you know last month we had the Comic Con in Ibadan?
Yes. Now they are doing statewise.
You see? They are doing statewise. So I didn't know how I even forgot. Okay, I had an appointment that Saturday. It happened March 30th. I couldn't go. I told my wife I was going to be there. But I had another appointment that made me not go. When I saw the turnout, of course it was not much because how many comic books do you have in Ibadan? Now, I'm not saying printing, like comic books. How many? If you say everybody in Ibadan should come and put their comic book on the table, we don't have up to 1,000. And I believe I have 10% of that 1,000.
Okay, in entire Ibadan.
In the entire of Ibadan. Do you know what I thought when I bought this 15,000 naira to buy Batman Hush? He said they are a wasteful spender.
No, even the first comic I think I got that time. I think it was 19. I don't remember the date, but I think I was like 7 or 8 year old. So I don't know what attracted me to buy. Maybe it was the color, it was the texture, it was the episode artwork. I don't know what attracted me, but somehow from my childhood I am inclined toward this kind of thing. Until now, like I'm 35 now, and before my parents used to scold me that what nonsense am I doing? Now it's my wife.
Somebody's on his head.
Yes, like we were speaking like 5 minutes back. I have a lot of comics, but even I have not opened the nylon.
If I saw them, they are still in their packs.
So I buy, I collect, but when it comes to read now, I get tired. But in my childhood, I was reading almost like 2 to 3 comics per day.
Daily.
And in my time in India, we used to rent it. I don't know, in Nigeria, you rent it.
We never
buy it.
Place. So newspaper sellers used to sell very old comics.
Okay.
So I would work for my secondary school. After the bomb blast in 2002, we had to change school. Government said we should guys and borrow some blocks from one school. So I would work from Anthony Village.
Okay.
As a JSS3 child, I would save all my money for food from Monday to Friday. I would trek 7 kilometers to go and buy comic book. Very old ones. Then you are being sold for 70 naira, 100 naira. It was the newspaper vendors that used to have, and they would mistakenly have.
Okay.
They themselves not knowing somebody was ever going to come and buy.
Okay.
To just say, I won't buy comic. I don't know whether I get. Oh, see one here. They will give. I will now go home. I will redraw every single panel in the comic book.
But there was no concept of renting a comic book.
No. I think the only thing we ever rented in the late 90s and early 2000s was VHS. Those are the only things we had to rent.
Okay. So in your profession, the kind of relationship you need to create with brands, how does it affect your work?
So I wouldn't say that the relationship with brand is creative specific.
Because the client wants some specific creative, and I know creators don't agree.
I think that is where we get it wrong. So I think out of experience and time spent in the craft, you would know that whatever your client wants is what you are giving, because that's what you are getting paid for. No matter how creative you think you are, no matter how grandiose your idea might be, if your client wants this, it is what you give. So I've had clients tell me, why did you make it this complex? So because I love depth and texture, I like to see my artwork have layers.
But then is it not easy to work on your own and have your own brand? Because the client
the client has the money, you don't.
No, I'm saying at a later point of time, have your own brand.
Experience and time. If you do, then you now have the issue. Okay, like me. So I basically have, how would I put it? I run a creative setup of my own. And as I speak, I still do 70% of the work. Not because I don't have people who can do those things. No, let me take that back. Because I don't have people who can do 70% of what I am marketing myself as. So when I have comic book gigs, I get to pencil, ink. I get to layout, pencil, ink, and color by myself. Because when people see my portfolio, I will say, clients see my portfolio and call to me, oh, we saw your work, we want this. When I want to give somebody else to do it, they can't give me that quality I'm giving. If I want them to, I have to supervise. I didn't realize that this takes a lot more time than I want it to take. So I end up doing it myself.
But I want to know, like, when you work with a client, and you're saying the client, what he wants, right? But in that, your creativity is hindered.
See, before you get to a point where you start dragging with your money, with your clients, you must have money of your own.
Yeah, I know.
So when the client says, if a client wants to give you $2 million to create an episode of, actually, I'm not a fan of calling big money. I call $2 million because a client reached out to me and asked how much would make to cost one episode of 20 minutes or so. So I checked online and it was between 1.5 million to about 3 million. So that informed that amount I called. Say a client reached out to you that we have $2 million we want you to create an episode of this thing. You know what the first problem is going to be? Getting a talent.
Correct.
The first problem is going to be getting a talent. The money is there. And the people you are employing pull off what the client has asked you to pull on. I'm not often on a client will come. This is good, but this is not what we are envisaging. They have a whole new problem to deal with. That's okay. So what were you? What is it you have in mind? I've worked with a very beautiful boss of mine that once told me, no, not once, that told me several times, something is missing, but I can't place it. Oh, God.
Because then the person is not creative, no?
Then that is it. So the client believes that they
know everything, but
thank you.
But
not everything. They have a picture in their head.
But
it's
they are
your
not
job
able
to
to
bring it out.
Yes.
No, they're supposed to help you bring out that picture. But the
then,
main creative client does not know how to give you the outline of.
But then the client is not from technical background, no? They know what they want, but they can't express.
So this is my tagline. My motto for my brand is, if you can think it, we can create it.
Okay.
If you can think it, we can create it. Because I can beat my chest anywhere globally that when it comes to putting down your thoughts in pencil and paper, I can do that anywhere, right? So, but you have to think what you're thinking. You say, I want somebody, so I want my brand to have a logo where it seems like somebody is coming out of a black hole. You've given me a direction. I have watched and read so much animation and comic respecting it to know what a concept of a black hole look like. I'm a graduate of Play and Applied Physics. I know what the scientific depiction of black hole should look like. I know it is sucking something in instead of expelling things out. I know it's black, I know it has waves around it. I can pull that off. But when you tell me I want my logo where somebody looks like somebody is drowning or being sucked in, the fact that there's something, how? Because there are lots of things that can suck you in. Water can, quicksand can, space itself can, one hole can. What do you call this esting funnel can. There are a lot of things that can suck you in. Then you leave me confused. So some clients will say, let's see what you come up with. It is the most frustrating thing you can tell a creative.
Because you will create on your own.
Do you know how many ideas I have in my head? I have like 100. Where you say, let's see what you come up with. You have put me in this situation where I have to do the mean deviation of all of my concepts. So I'm trying to piece together the one who's sucking something in, and then the thing for sucking something in, and then the quicks are sucking in. You are wasting all of our time.
But which all brands have you worked with?
I've worked with Minimi, I have worked with Indomie, for a very transient time, I worked with Munchies, I worked with Lush Hair, worked with Flutterwave, worked with Venia Business Hub, worked with Waddell Technologies in Canada.
And for now?
Also worked with Unison. So as it is now, like I said, I run my own creative setup. Like I'm an independent seller of creativity. I also have dealings with Lush Hair presently, Flutterwave as well.
So what is the name of your brand or
Automatic Media.
Automatic Media.
Yes, please.
Can you help us spell it?
O-T-O. Now.
See now. Okay.
Before I go on, I want you to understand where the automatic media came from. So it got to a point in my life. I have a boss who's a friend, as well as an advisor.
I know her.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
An advisor, a friend, and a boss. She's been a boss for a while. Somebody I love and respect so much.
I know she's sitting here, but we can't bring her in the frame.
So she's our DOP anyway. So I've had the opportunity to discuss with her out of work, and we've made each other realize that generally it is the happiness that you get from what you do that matters. So it got to a point where I was overly happy with where my life had gotten to, even when I was not financially at the point I wanted to be. Then one particular song was trending. One of my cameramen here will remember that song. The singer happens to be late now. I say, my grace is now automatic. I think we went to do a shoot for Lush Hair then, and that song was playing.
Okay.
So so he said his grace was automatic. I said, my grace is automatic. So I picked that in automatic, and I spelled it the way it was pronounced, automatic, like the Yoruba intonation. So the first zero has a dot under, Tomatic, then media.
So automatic. You know my reason of asking you the spelling. Because generally 99% people will think it is A-U-T-O.
Yeah, so it's automatic.
So same thing I want to relate. When people are creative, they think of O-T-O in spite of A-U-T-O.
I think creative people just want to spell things in non-conventional ways. Just if it says somebody to spell Lagos, put L-A-Y-G-U-S. Lagos.
Lagos. Okay. So talking about your job, what was your first job?
2014, I went for service. When I came back 2015, I landed a Arms of Tolerance group as a creative and graphic designer for Minimi.
Okay. So my wife interviewed you.
Nah, she did not.
Okay.
I did not meet your wife until 2016.
16.
Was it 16?
16. 16 ending.
16 ending because we had just left Marina and we came to SDV.
Because I started dating in 2016. So that's why you met her that time.
Oh, I found it. I think true. That time has gone. Right? Thank God for life.
But what is your dream job? Or
I want to become a globally acclaimed, renowned comic book artist.
Break it down for us.
So, you know how there is this one thing you are very, very sure of you can do, no matter the time of day you are called. For me, it is comic book art. I can, all the people that I look up to, Jim Lee, and the Kubat, Joe Kubat and their father, what is this man's name? Joe Rimita Jr. and Joe Rimita Sr. These are people that have been drawing comic for, wouldn't believe I tell you, for 40 years more. Presently, Jim Lee is the publisher, chief creative officer, and CEO of DC Comics. This is somebody who helped create a lot of characters for DC, for Marvel. So people have spent so much time in this. Joe Capullo, I wanted to mention him. Batman, one of the most famous arts of Batman was done by Capullo. So these are men in their 60s, mind you, late 50s, early 60s. May he so rest in peace. The king of cameos. What's this Baba's name?
You can open your phone and check it.
No, not my.
We have
when it comes to comic book, I don't even need to check. I think my head alone has a lot. I want to remind the whole. This man that died now.
Akira.
No, the old man. That's it. Marvel movies.
Stanley.
Stanley, greatly. Stanley penciled comic books. He entered.
And you know his story, right?
Of course.
Would you like to tell us
So Stanley,
like how he started?
Yes, Stanley was working as a in a press company in the late 20s, early 30s. So he was a cartoonist. Working. I forgot the name of the press company he was working with. Then we did not have companies that were printing comic books. They were basically at the end of a newspaper, they take a section where they have the comic book. As a matter of fact, a lot of our well-known comic book characters started from scripts. Scooby-Doo, Shazam, Superman.
Batman.
I think the Dark Knights and the Shadow did not start from newspaper comic book. They were being published in one pages.
Okay.
So they were the ones that did not start, because then Superman had made the world familiar with them. So then they were giving more space for comic books.
Then after Superman came, Batman had to struggle.
Yes.
We'll talk to.
So it was Superman who opened the light to. Before that, we had Popeye in the 1920s.
Yeah.
So Popeye is known as a character who had his first full printed comic.
Okay.
Yes, and it was also the first second animated after Steamboat Willie. Steamboat Willie was the first cinemally aired cartoon ever. Check it anywhere. Steamboat Willie. You know Steamboat Willie? So that who turned out to be Mickey Mouse eventually. So it was first aired. Popeye was the first animated show that was in and whatnot.
So having so many things inside your head, I want to know how many years have you spent in this segment or in this?
All my life.
From when?
Since I could read.
Maybe 6.
Yes, I think I officially started reading 4.
Okay.
I think I started talking before I was 16 months.
Okay. So like you helped us break cartoon down.
Okay.
Can you help us break down animation? What is animation for a layman?
Animation. Let's break that into 2. Animation. Animate. So now I want to be very, very, how will I put it, wiser in the Sean. So the Sean is anything that calls Tion is actually making it a noun. Punctuation. Whatever Sean. Anything that calls Sean is Ci is a noun to make it a whole. Now, but in this case, animation. Animate, put motion.
Okay. So
the Sean in this case is not to nounify it.
Okay.
But to motionify it.
And animation was not considered as comedy like cartoon.
No. So animation was the people that started cartoons. Animation did not become a thing until late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
I might be wrong, give or take 5 years. But animation did not. It was cartoon.
So how do you start doing animation? As in, I know you have to start with sketching.
So it's not, like the process for these things are the same. It is the motive behind it that makes them different.
Okay.
Son of Batman is an animation. It's not a cartoon. Tom and Jerry is an animation. It is a cartoon.
It is a cartoon.
The motive for which they were created differs completely.
Okay.
So the process of animation and cartoon is the same. You start with doing layouts. Also known as storyboarding, where you're doing anything in motion. If it's comic, your layout leads to the penciling. So our great seniors in this line, we are doing traditional arts, where you would draw every single frame painstakingly for months on end.
And that's why it used to take long time to even
a lot
come out.
So Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs drawn. See, 1963. Beauty and the Beast, hand drawn.
Aladdin.
Everything that was produced until Toy Story was traditionally created.
Why animation?
So like I must have said it 1,000 times, I was born with the ability to draw, so it was default animation.
Okay.
So when I said that I was born with the ability to draw, when I was in GSS 3, I had watched 103 I know because I wrote them down one after the other. We did not have cable, but I had watched 103 cartoons.
How?
The beautiful question. We used to have channels that love children, television channels that love children. I knew that a lot of the population of Nigeria was poor. So our local stations were tagging onto the cable channels. So for a few hours, we were getting international channels like Cartoon Network. So we would watch things like Samurai Jack.
Which year?
2002, 2003.
Okay.
Watch Samurai Jack. We would watch Freakazoid.
Okay.
We would watch Sam and Max. We would watch all those exclusive cartoons that were on Cartoon Network. As a matter of fact, the channel that used to do this the most for us, God continued to bless Silverbird for me. Okay. Silverbird made me watch a lot of cartoons. We woke up in the morning and they were showing us the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. We would dress our uniform and sit in front of television. We were watching it. Your father would say, "Will you stand up and start going to school?" We woke up early morning to on the TV. Because of course it was like that because the time Cartoon Network will not stop showing. They will show around the clock. So when you wake up, we will go to school now, come back.
But newspapers, okay, you didn't had cable that time you were telling in Nigeria.
Yes, we did. So we had local newspapers that were giving us things like something thunder. We used to have these
small sections of...
Yes, like 3 panels.
Okay, so in India, how it used to work, India, cable came long back. So what we have to do that whenever you order a newspaper, right, they used to have a strip of timings, like from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m, channel-wise, which cartoon will come.
Yes.
So we used to see that okay, 8 p.m. Scooby-Doo will come.
Yeah.
8:30.
We had a semblance of that. You notice that I said that they knew that a large proportion of the populace was poor. We had people who had cable as far back as the early 80s. We were the ones that couldn't afford cable. It's not that it was not available. We used to have some people could even afford dishes. Okay. Satellite dish. Some people could get cable. So the cable was like an antenna. But it was not the dish. They used to have the one small bulb. You put somewhere, had antennas with some wires that was going to the roof. You could get Cartoon Network, but it had this white noise because it was never as clear as that of the dish. I used to remember having to go to a friend's house, Eric Wogbe. Shout out to wherever you are, Eric Wogbe. I've missed it's been a long time. I used to go to Eric Wogbe's house and watch Samurai Jack. I never missed it for anything. I love that theme song, Back to the Past, Samurai, Jack.
And funny thing, I don't know whether you know or not, or most of the audience don't know. If you see the face of Samurai Jack and the face of Professor X in Powerpuff Girls, they're the same person.
As a matter of fact, there's a theory that says they're the exact same person.
They're exactly
because, of course, Gengi Takakovsky created both. And then he just moves that character directly. In fact, side by side, there's no difference.
Side by side, there's the
only difference is that Jack has
a ponytail.
Yes, that's the only difference. The same character with a ponytail.
So there are a lot of theories that is it the same person or not?
I think so one of the theories I saw on YouTube was when he was mixing the time, because he was a scientist, he was the one that actually created a timeline that he fell into. It was like an alternate timeline that the professor himself created. Cartoons with our planet. Shout out to Takakovsky. There is one man that I love so much. He's one of the people that I would love to meet because he created one of my best animation I've ever seen in my life, Primal. Did you see Primal?
No.
Please go and see Primal.
It's a historical...
Yes, it's like in the Stone Age. In the Stone Age. Not a word said in the first season.
Okay.
Phenomenal. Emotionally driven story. Not a word said. Because Spear was a caveman who couldn't talk. Fang was a dinosaur who should not talk.
So how they used to interact?
How do I even explain that? Emotions and body movement. Okay. So when they're arguing, you'll be hearing various feral noises. Basically, emotion-driven stories. Beautiful. Primal.
I personally wanted to meet Stanley, but...
he left us. It was 1 decade before we were conceived.
Yeah. So rest in peace, Stanley. He gave us so many things and
they gave us that. He created my child.
He created the world actually.
He did.
Which we are living right now.
He did. He actually did create the world. Because I think we were mentioning a few minutes ago about how he started. He enforced a lot of things. And when that press company he was working for refused, he quit.
He quit.
That was how much faith he had in the future to come.
Even
He left that company and took his property when they did not give him a full page.
yes,
I said, I am going to go to somewhere else where they're going to give me a whole book. And the rival company was coming up and they said, don't worry, if they don't give you the space, we will give you the space.
DC.
It wasn't DC. It was another company that then became DC. Then it was Detective Comics. And
DC now,
it's funny that
same thing.
they came back and then started doing Detective Comics under the umbrella of DC.
DC.
So we had Batman. Of course, Batman is the greatest thing DC ever created from then and now. And it started. And then the World War. You know, one of the best thing comic book also did that nobody's talking about? How it was used to pass across more real life messages.
But now I don't think there is any message passed.
So we've had so much form of media. Digitalization has actually made us. Twitter is not the best form of passing
information.
and that is why we are killing ourselves.
Okay.
No fun anymore. Did you know that when I think was in the First World War, the Second World War, the most, so in the comic book world, you have three most popular posters where comic book front cover till the Kingdom Come. That's three most popular. The first one, I repeat, the very first one is Hitler being punched by Captain America.
Yeah, I've seen it.
The second one is the death of Superman, where Lewis was holding him after he had fought Doomsday.
Yes.
And the very third one is the death of Jason Todd.
Jason Todd.
Death in the Family.
Death in the Family.
Those are the three most popular comic book front cover of all time.
Even this one is one of the popular cover when Superman killed Joker.
Superman killed Joker.
Yes. If you have not seen it, see it. There was an alternate timeline where Joker had spread this some kind of gas in their office, and somehow Lois was there in that office, and she was pregnant with Superman's child.
That's
injustice.
Injustice. So you see, I think the injustice that you see, just like those three paper front covers are the most popular. Injustice is the most popular Elseworld story of all fictiondom.
And there's one more, if you know, for Batman, one of the famous cover is the laughing Batman. The
Batman who laughs.
The Batman who laughs.
The Batman who laughs. And then, oh yes, I don't know where this one ranks. The Killing Joke.
Killing Joke is considered one of the controversial comics.
That is why I said I don't know where it ranks. Because the Killing Joke became a staple of the Joker.
Because
they had that.
He killed, I think, Barbara.
Yes, shot Barbara and traumatized Jim Gordon.
But what is your best depiction of Joker in terms of voiceover?
You know, the thing is that I still think Batman Begins. That is Christopher Nolan's.
No. It didn't get my question.
Voiceover.
In terms for Joker.
Yes, the person who
Heath Ledger. Batman Begins is for Christopher Nolan is Heath Ledger, no?
Then that is my best portrayal. So there is this way I see the Joker, where he's saying things that are funny, but you're not laughing because you feel the darkness that is coming with the tone of his voice. That was where he actually said that there's some people who don't have motives for wanting the world born. They just want to watch the world born. There is no motive for them being evil. That is how they were born, wired. That Batman, that is exactly the same reason for which I do not like the portrayal of Batman's voice
for the same
in that franchise.
Because it was
I did not like the way it was not natural. Christian Bale was sounding like he had his tongue was too big for his mouth. And like it was coughing. Did you see the way Batfleck was sounding?
It was not
original with the right amount of baritone and bass.
But when he was selected, people said that it's a wrong choice.
Anybody can go and do whatever they say, whatever they like. For me, Batfleck is the best Batman. From what's his name? This fine man, just Clooney.
From Adam West.
I did not really know much about Adam West. I found that when I was going, it was whack to me, so I did not watch it. So I started paying attention from George Clooney.
You know, funny thing about George Clooney is banned from Comic-Con because of the portrayal of Batman.
Wasn't his fault now.
But people consider now that is his fault. Why did he even agree to do this kind?
Yeah, because he has always been a powerhouse in the movie industry. But
And even in the new Flash movie, which came I think last year,
yes,
the ending was George Clooney came as Batman,
yes,
and because of that, people abused the director that why you had to take this.
yeah, this he fell so far off, or would I say so negatively deep that they are just basically grabbing at straws.
But what I feel about DC is that DC has good stories, but bad director.
I think we all know this. If you're a comic book reader like I do, you know this. Nobody needs to tell you. If you pick a comic, if you pick a volume of DC comic and a Marvel comic, when you read it, I have there. Do you know how many times I've read that comic? This is the fourth time. You could always take a DC character, no matter how low level they are, seriously. You have Vicky Vale. Vicky Vale, he happens to be a reporter. Like Louis Lane in Marvel, but you will take Vicky Vale more seriously because her acts, no matter how small, she's doing something serious. So no matter the story that this is trying to tell, there is a level of real lifeness and seriousness to it that makes you feel attached.
And they have their own backstory. At times I feel Marvel don't spend money or don't spend time on their backstory.
I would blame MCU for this. MCU comic used to inform the movies. When the MCU became very popular, I started informing Marvel. Movies started informing the comics. They started changing their character designs. I remember the design of Star-Lord for Guardians of the Galaxy. Immediately, Guardians of the Galaxy blew up in MCU.
They changed
the character.
Same thing for Drax.
Why? They changed for Hawkeye as well. Hawkeye used to be very popular with big antenna for eyes. Why did you change that? You are not making it. It's supposed to be two different medias.
But in terms of DC, comics still dictate movies.
Yes, no matter.
And that's what people don't like.
They see when we push you to make wrong decisions, we now blame you for this. For you taking our decision after we did not put a gun to your head for you to make that decision. It was we basically suggested you take it. Because now, as at last time I checked was 2022, this still had the highest gross profit / income from selling comics.
But only thing about DC is that the people who are sitting on top, I don't know about now, but before they themselves killed the franchisee.
See, have you worked in a situation where you have a boss who has an idea of what they want to do and are asking you to do an idea of what they don't understand? That's what's happening to DC.
So coming back to the topic, difference between animation and manga.
Beautiful. You see, the Japanese are big dreamers. And so they put all of their dreams and imagination into manga and anime.
Into paper.
Yes. There is nothing realistic about those things. Did you watch Kengan Ashura?
Yes.
You watch Baki?
Yes.
Me and you know there is no much of steroids that will give you those muscles. We have muscles that are so taut they look like copper wire that you wanted to beat somebody with.
And funny enough, manga is more popular than anime.
So that is because in the Japanese culture, they are more papyrus inclined. The Asian culture is more papyrus inclined.
Because of their, I think beginning of animation.
Yes.
I think there was no anime before, right?
Yes.
Because people used to draw.
Yes.
I think Japanese are more inclined towards the sketch.
Yes. So generally the Asian culture, we are documenters on papers. So that if you are one of the oldest of civilization is the Chinese culture, and majority of that documented teaching, the Chinese will see recognize paper, things you write on paper. Which we Africans that are doing it ourselves want to do everything digital. Any small thing you are streaming, You better go and read book.
And even like we are talking too much of Batman. I hope you have seen the Batman which they created in anime.
I don't want to see. I saw the Wolverine that was created in anime, and I told myself,
it's available on Netflix. I'm not able to recall the name. The Batman Ninja.
Batman Ninja. It is my least favorite Batman of all time.
I started it. Somehow I didn't have the urge to see, but I somehow completed it. But it's a decent thing.
After saying it, now.
But you can't relate Batman to.
The thing is that I don't like the fact that That is why I've never really liked when you are not sure of what. Let me not use the word, not the phrase, not sure. When you mix two patterns together, it makes me feel somehow reserved regarding it. That one of my first issue with that Batman Ninja was that you did this sense in 3D. You're not overlaying them with 2D layers. You need it as 3D. Or you give us 2D. I can bet you that if you bring 100 geek people, they want their 2D 2D, they want their 3D 3D.
But in terms of story, it was a decent story.
It was.
But
it was.
My question to you is that why each and every story, let's say any story, whether it is DC, it is Marvel, it is anything, why everything has gone to only one concept which they follow is go in the past and change something, as in change the timeline. Why always, or let me simplify it, why
only scenario?
Why only time travel is always the biggest thing in comic?
Beautiful.
Because there's nothing new they're following.
Yeah, so time traveling is that, funny enough, time traveling is one thing you do when you want to respect our ideals and our understanding and intelligence.
And second thing is multiverse.
Yeah, I was getting there. So you have else in, like for DC, you have Elseworld stories. Just like you have in Marvel, you have what ifs.
Yes.
So there is so much you can tell regarding particular.
But I hope you know the concept. Whenever they do a multiverse thing, like for DC, they wanted to reboot everything.
Yeah.
They wanted to bring everyone together. That's why they had Crisis on Infinite.
Yes.
And currently, which is airing.
Yes. If that's airing, Crisis on
second part has come, and third part will come after 2 months.
Yes. For me, for DC, I just stick to the comics and the animated movies. I'm only so hyped when any animated movies about to come. I think we are doing the third part is coming next month. I've seen the first two, which I've enjoyed so far. And I realize that those stories are not action focused. They are story
focused.
Beautiful. And that is one thing DC has. When it comes to story, I don't know who writes these things, but they are so good job, so much good jobs with their story writing. About how Barry Allen has traveled, he has become old. There's this, what do they call that? Their monitor computer that is doing the anti-wave, this thing. And what was so much story. Before then, they did DC and these manga girls. So manga girls, Ruby.
Okay.
Did you watch that?
No, I'm not sure. I've heard about it.
Where Kyugo.
Okay.
Kyugo merged with, I think, Brina, one of these villains, to actually do some stuff. And it was also a two-part story. Okay. The first part was done in the world of the manga and the Ruby. The second one kept doing it.
No, I have seen it.
Very beautiful story.
Okay.
So to answer your question, the timeline of rebooting, just like, okay, how else can
How can I correct it? How can I correct the mistake?
How else can we tell, okay, we did this, what can we do? What can we do? Like, well, they know how they used to say deaths don't last in the comic world. Before I continue, I also wanted to mention a very popular comic book front cover, The Death of Gwen Stacy. That's another phenomenally popular front cover. So they just like, okay, we've done this way. What happens if we do it this way? So this is somebody. That's why we have so many time travelers now.
Everybody the time travel. Everybody the time travel.
They went as far as in Endgame now. They also time travel. Time travel.
Even for if I talk about any story, whether it is DC, it is Marvel. Even in Marvel, like Avengers want to time travel, X-Men is time traveling. So everyone is time traveling. They just want to correct. Either they want to correct their story, or they want to develop a character.
I don't actually think any story is being corrected. There's an infinite way for which a story could be told. So I think they're just exploring it by having these things just work. Like, see the tomorrow, is it Tomorrowverse they are calling it now? Yes, we have Superman Man of Tomorrow. Immediately after Doomsday Apocalypse, that's that Apocalypse.
Yes.
Constantine asked told Barry that he's the only one who can fix it.
Yes.
So the guy went back and wiped out the whole AU.
Yes.
DCAU, wiped it out. And then the next thing we saw, we were watching Superman Man of Tomorrow. So they've taken him back.
But that was the I think for me that was the best.
No,
10
era.
10
No,
10
no,
movies
no.
was the best.
Give it up. That DCAU, best. That started from Flashpoint, Abi?
Yes.
No, that's the best.
Flashpoint Paradox.
That is what is can be put on par with the first decade of DCU, with MCU. That was phenomenal.
And they ended on a good note. Like everything is finished. Now is the time to reset everything.
They ended. I need to go and search the writers of those things. It ended very, very well. Ended very, very well. They had won, but they had lost so much as well. And they are feeling so bad. It's okay. And Constantine approached him and said, "You are the only one that can fix this, mate. You know what to do." Make us shut up and run. And that this new timeline. So what I'm expecting now is that I need to see that Barry Allen in this new Tomorrowverse that this is doing, because it wouldn't add up if he's not there.
No, but same Barry Allen I think is in Crisis on
Not the same one. So what is what I mean? So when they did it, they changed the art style. So now the art style we have in this new verse is that we have thicker outlines.
No, okay, you're talking about
The art style.
okay.
So because after that, the next day we saw Flash was in Justice League War.
No. It was a timeline event in the past. From the ending of
Yes. Then he went. He was actually saying he knew Wonder Woman.
yes, that's why.
So that is it. They haven't officially stated it. But they saying that he knew Wonder Woman and those ones did not know him. He asked for some characters behind it. So those ones said they were the Justice League of America. Of course, that's another.
That's a different topic.
So Justice League plenty. Justice League of America, Justice League United, Justice League 3000. A lot of Justice Leagues with different members.
And there was one Justice Society of America.
There's Justice Society
of
America as well.
It was in 6.
That one was the one without Superman.
Yes, without Superman.
They have Justice League of America, Justice Society of America.
Justice Society formed the base to Justice Society of America.
Yes. Those ones are from during the World War. So basically, this is doing a very marvelous job with their stories.
Okay, so one of the most hyped or controversial question: Goku versus or Batman versus Goku.
See, realistically, there is no way. You know how we Batman
way of what? As in who's winning?
Of course, Goku is Goku and Batman. How about now? Goku is definitely going to win. Goku is going to win. Because you know how we have these people who say they have plot armor and whatnot. I'm not even basing, leave the plot armor, leave the prep time. There are some things your prep time.
No, but again, I beg to differ. Even when, I think there was a movie DC brought out in which Superman's cousin, Supergirl,
Kara as well.
She came down to Earth and it was Darkseid who captured her. And he took her on Apocalypse.
That I was about that too.
That time,
Batman Apocalypse.
Yes, that time in that whole story, it was not Superman who saved everyone.
It was Batman.
It was Batman. Because Batman outsmarted Darkseid.
That is what
because of whatever reason.
Now you know one thing with manga and anime, there's nothing like outsmarting. They don't need to be smart. The whole anime verse.
Yeah.
They don't
want to because they.
As a matter of fact, they have never told us that the superpower of this guy is his intellect.
Yes, and Batman is intellect.
They have various levels of power upgrades in anime. And so, no, I'm not. What amount of intellect does Batman want to have that will make him fight Goku when he enters Super Saiyan?
Not even Super Saiyan, no? A basic form can also...
I'm not saying that. Let's say he has prepped so much. What?
See, how...
These are characters that don't have any...
intellect.
These are characters that don't have any known shortcomings. They do not have, just as Superman has kryptonite, what does Goku have that can counter him?
His family.
They all have friends.
No, so what I feel how Batman works is that he will find your weakness.
And that is it.
And that is it.
That's what I'm telling you about manga. That is the reason for which I have never really fancied manga. In manga, it is the amount of power upgrades that you have that is not up to your enemy's own that determine if you lose or win.
No, but if I am holding your... Again, see, it's a debatable topic.
It's not... It's
no win or lose.
It's not... The question is... there is no animation character that can beat any manga character or anime character as simple as that.
Okay, let's talk about your personal life.
Okay.
Love marriage or arranged marriage? Which one is yours and what do you prefer?
So I like to always have backstories because, of course, I'm a storyteller. You see, the only thing you get to choose willingly in your life is your partner.
Okay.
So nobody should arrange it for you.
So yours was love marriage.
Of course. So you want to know a little backstory about my marriage? I think my GOP knows already. I had known my wife for 16 years. She was never my girlfriend. She was my friend, then my wife.
And funny enough, she was my in the first meeting, I will not term as rival, but in the first meeting I thought that who is this stupid girl who came and she's here and giving talk that I did this, I did that. And when you first meet your wife, when I first met my wife, I thought she was stubborn.
Oh, you thought she is not?
No, now she is, no, but there
Aha, you thought then, now you know.
Yeah, I know. I
Ah.
know she's a very stubborn and lazy person.
Your wife is persistent.
That for you, na, she gave you money, na.
Of course, your wife has been one of the people that has elevated my financial status. For that, I'm very grateful. Opportunities really came from her.
To buy more comics.
Not comics. Basically, she introduced me to people that actually made me.
So for your family,
improve my life.
For your family, who is Hafiz?
I'm the first child.
No, I mean to say who is Hafiz means for them.
That's what I'm saying.
How do they portray Hafiz?
Yes, so I am the first child, sister from that. I'm the first child who they look up to. I've been fortunate enough to be put in a situation when I am considered a role model. I am considered a role model.
Okay.
In my family. So that's why I started by saying I am the first child. So you being the first child doesn't necessarily make you the role model.
No, it's not compulsory.
So I said, I have been fortunate to be in a position where I am considered a role model. Even my father and I even see me like, oh, he is a good person. My father sits with me now and we discuss as friends. If he has problem, he tells me first before he tells his wife. Because he believes I'm in a better position to understand.
Okay.
And I think me becoming a father also actually elevated my rank in the sight of my father. So we sit down and talk. If I have issues with my wife, my mother never hears, but my father is the first person to hear. You know how in Africa here, what we say to ourselves that when you're having issues in your marriage, you should keep it within yourself. Here's my camera. This is it, Abi. Mm-hmm. When you're having issues in your marriage, please don't keep it to yourself so that you will not die.
So you should spread it.
You should. So it's a negative energy that you're keeping to yourself. What happens when you keep negative energy to yourself? You become negative. And you eventually erupt.
Anxiety.
Yes, you erupt. So when you're having something you want to discuss with somebody, your wife is giving you an issue, your husband is giving you an issue, and you're not talking that this, the energy is always making you vibrate negatively.
That's why I believe you should erupt every day.
You should?
Erupt every day.
Yeah, I do. I'm an erupter. I do. I don't let things stay with me. And there are sometimes when you erupt, it hits the other person negatively. The message lands wrongly. That's be very technical in how you erupt. Yes. And that's how you look for somebody. So when I go on outing, I don't drink, I don't smoke. When I go on outing, I basically talk about things that you wouldn't expect me to talk about. If we sit down, I think we are both married men, and this is the very first time we're actually discussing anything that has to do with marriage in-depthly. It's a lot. It is a lot.
So another controversial question: who's the boss of your house?
I am the boss of my house.
But we can't have guarantee now because the other person is not.
So this is why I'm the boss. So as an African man, I never wooed my wife.
Okay.
So I was to be engaged with a lady whom I had waited for 4 years. And her father told me, your mother is a Christian, you are a Muslim. In his words, I am quoting directly, I cannot permit my daughter to marry a man whose mother is a Christian.
Okay.
And so that thing didn't go anyway. Not go further. I said, okay, because if I cannot love my mother for whom I have to be, I won't love her, then I can't love you as well. Another thing, love is the end point of a very complex experiment. It is not ready-made. It's not.
So, let's connect love to any superhero who has died.
Yes.
And how come the power of love will make him...
Peter Parker still loves Gwen Stacy to today. And that's why his marriage with Mary Jane is never complete.
But Mary Jane came before Gwen Stefani.
Yes. But he was in love.
I
repeat, the ultimate universe would let you know that he was in love with that police officer's daughter, he went to spend some time with Gwen Stacy for a very long time.
More than Mary Jane.
By far.
So this thing also is a common thing between all the animated genre, that if anybody has died, or let's take, they want to bring him back, they attach love with everything, that the power of love will bring everyone back.
I think that particular storyline is fading away. We don't do that anymore. I think the last
now they don't do, but before they used to do a lot.
I think this that's basically an archaic concept. Now what they do is that they create a new timeline.
They will create a new timeline.
They want a character like, of course, Gwen Stacy is Spider Gwen.
Yes.
So they just create a new timeline and they do this. This not even dimension traveling portal, just like Spider. So the Ultimate Universe, when they created the Ultimate Universe, it was a concept to have the Avengers in another way. And then some characters were taken from the Ultimate Universe and brought into the 616 universe, which is the normal universe.
Yes.
E.g., Miles Morales.
Yes.
The present Nick Fury. Nick Fury used to be a white guy. The 616 Nick Fury, the one you have in the Punisher Mark series, the ones you have in the earlier Captain America series, was the white guy with patch.
Okay. Yes. With gray hair.
Beautiful.
Gray hair.
Then when there was this grand, where the two worlds collided.
Okay, they went to.
I'm trying to remember what they tagged that storyline as.
Secret Wars.
No. The Secret Wars was all the things that happened for I'll remember the great something.
Okay.
So there the two universes merged.
Okay.
Then some characters with their own individual stories became more popular. Readers caught the fancy of those characters.
Okay.
That was why Miles Morales stayed.
Okay.
Then Nick Fury was the number one that stayed.
Okay.
Because it was said in the comic that when they drew that character, when they designed it, it looked so much like Samuel L. Jackson. And I myself, I have read it where that character in the comic actually said that if he was ever to be in a movie, he would like to be played by Nick Fury. And when that character became famous, Marvel signed Nick Fury and signed Samuel L. Jackson straight.
And I want to connect same thing to your previous discussion. Like when Fury was a white guy with gray hair. When Samuel Jackson came on board, he was a black guy.
He was a black guy.
And they changed the
movie
because
it was basically what is making more money.
So even in the comics, I
do
think
you know, as much as I like Samuel L. Jackson, I've never really fancied the fact that they now made the Nick Fury now the black one instead of the white one. But this is not a matter of racism. After I'm a black man, so I just feel like this Nick Fury had a whole series of his own called Shield. When I was in the primary school, there used to be a comic called Shield. Yes, it was basically Nick Fury's comic.
Yes, even a TV series came up now. There was no Nick Fury.
Course, there was no Nick Fury.
He handed over.
It was still the black person.
Yes.
But there's this guy called Shield in the comic. It was the white Nick Fury. So when this one became popular, they then made Nick Fury. I was like,
who has even appeared in Spider-Man.
Exactly. So the whole thing just went that way, and they replaced it. So it was all about the money. Which one did the fans want more? Like Miles Morales is a character that basically hits the ground running. There were other characters that were supposed to come from the 616 before him, but I believe the world just wanted the black spy hero again, who was popular. And it wasn't the only one. Kamala Khan was also brought. So I think that time Marvel just wanted to diversify.
She's the first Pakistani.
Pakistani. They changed Ghost Rider to Hispanics.
Yes.
What was that his name? Something Reese.
Christopher. No. Okay. Understood.
That the Hispanic guy who's the Ghost Rider.
Understood.
Something Reese. They brought new characters that were from different parts of the world. They had the Indian Spider-Man. So they just brought yeah, exactly. Brought new characters. So diversification. And I don't know why the world will always want to pick out negative things.
And there's one new character I heard, Kamala.
Kamala Khan is not new.
No, not Kamala. Then it's not Kamala. There's some other. I don't know. I think she might appear in the new Marvel comics. I don't know about the name, but I heard. But don't you think that the comic story should be depicted on the big screen exactly the way it is?
That is what I've never understood.
And when you say something is,
I think I once asked the producer that when you say when you say something is an adaptation or something, is it not supposed to be the way it
same.
is? Why do you do that when you are converting it to the animated series? Why don't you do that when you're making live action? They say there are some things that don't go well in the silver screen.
Like what?
Who told you? You have all the CGIs in the world. What is it you can do on comic book and on animation that you cannot do now in the silver screen? Absolutely nothing. It's just that some people are so full of themselves that they feel like we can tell it better.
No, because the thing is that the people who are sitting at top, they themselves are not comic readers.
That is where the problem is.
That is
That's exactly
that
what I'm
is the
saying.
problem. That's why.
So they feel that is why I think the person they say when you say something is adapted, it doesn't necessarily mean it is. You say it is adapted from the source material. Where we are not seeing the adapted. We are not seeing they adapted the Batman Year One into the animated movie. It is by far one of the best adaptations. Basically, panel for panel. We know what you're going to see. We're changing it for us. We have issues. I was trying to explain something to somebody. Somebody was saying, why is it that this Matrix Batman, why is it so popular when it is even the least? I said, to you is the least. I said, for we that you are Batman freaks, we know where this is coming from. Batman could not even beat street thugs in his first year.
Yes.
Right. He did not know Gotham, and it took experience for Batman to know Gotham like the back of his hands. This is Batman Year One. Did you see the Batmobile? Did it look like any of the Batmobile you know? It was basically a muzzled car. Did you see any gadget on any of on his batsuit? No.
He was just a fighter.
So thank you. This is Batman Year One. I said go and watch the animated movie or you read the comic of Batman Year One. He was running away from cops. It took the sonic disruptor to call his bats from the cave to come and help him escape on the motorcycle. It was the crude era of Batman. So we understand where material is coming from. This is what you call adapting the source material. You not come and tell me Batman Year One, he has the bat jet. Where did he get it from? He hasn't even been given the control of Wayne Enterprises. Lucius Fox was still running it.
He was still fighting for it.
You get?
Because I believe that as a comic book reader, if you are directing a movie, I want to see exactly what it is.
I'm going to direct
screen.
a comic book movie one day. God will give me money.
Oh, voila. I know your money will come from which source.
Inshallah.
I will tell her to sponsor your movie also.
She will
put all the money. Don't worry, she'll put all the money.
We will adapt source material. I'm a comic book artist. I know the cinematography will handle. Who adapt source material? It's not the one you go and bring. Like, I think I was discussing with somebody about this very popular Marvel movie. Not be Endgame. The one before Endgame. Infinity Wars. Do you know there is less than 30% of the Infinity War you saw in the movie than in the books? They said, you cannot have them fight in space. We've had Marvel MCU movies where they went to battle in space. They said it won't sit well. We've had very good movies who were one direction in their plot. They are one of the best movies today. The Red Redemption is just one line. They went into the building. They managed to escape with their lives intact. Simple.
Because the best era for a comic book person, in my perspective, was Christopher Nolan started it because he likes to go in depth.
Yes.
That was fine. As an adaptation, because even I think he wanted to go into details that how a character thinks. That's why your Heath Ledger came. And he wanted to understand the psychology of a
was very psychological.
Of a freak or a hero. That's fine. After that, the best era till now was Zack Snyder's era.
Yeah.
He's also like a visionary where Warner Brothers failed to understand what he want to do. For them, he was very brutal.
The how will I put it? The amalgamation between Snyder, let me know the amalgamation. The partnership between Snyder and Warner Brothers was bound to fail eventually. I know this because I saw Snyder's earlier works. Did you remember the movie Sucker Punch?
Yes, I've seen it.
Beautiful. You remember 300?
Yes.
The only people that would have loved to work with Snyder is Mike Mignola. You know Mike Mignola? The person who drew the creator of Hellboy. Hellboy is the only comic book that has the aesthetics.
But that time, Zack Snyder didn't have the financial support, and he had to go to Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers basically wanted to pursue MCU, and so every decision they made was MCU informed. They basically brought Snyder in because he was a popular director. not because of the aesthetics of his work. We all know that Snyder's camera style and whatnot is always dark from the beginning to the end. We saw Sucker Punch, right? We saw 300. He takes his scenes straight out of panels. He wants those dark edges to show straight out. My Big Nona draws his Hellboy stories 50% ink, dark ink. There is no full page light, no matter the time of day. Hellboy doesn't have a full color of him. Is that the neck is totally dark with the part of the arm, or the back part of the suit is. But that is how Mike Mignola draws his drawing. And it doesn't have this layer depth because he has so much darkness. He just put flat colors. So they pop. It's not like Jim Lee that will have so much stroke everywhere, hatching and cross hatching. You now give it to this other guy to be adding colors and putting depth and lights where it's not necessary. Warner Brothers was desperate and they said, if you get a popular enough director, it will garner the followership and then we'll hit the heights. Then they forget that we, the viewers, we have our own directors. But
he's a visionary. They don't see that.
That's it. Do you know that's the reason for which this James
Gunn.
No, not Gunn. This Snyder's new verse he's creating.
Okay, Rebel Moon.
That is the reason for which he's getting so much negative review online. Oh, it was supposed to be a Star Wars. No. Nobody wants.
It's a different genre.
I want to say to my camera, people, I am that geek that has never liked Star Wars. Do you know how much I have tried?
I only liked Star Wars 1 to 6. That's it. And 6 was the beginning.
I went to watch the one where this guy turned bad. The one of Obi-Wan Kenobi and the fights.
So, what is the animation industry you know when you were a small boy, and what has changed over past 10 years in Nigeria versus Africa versus the world?
Okay. So growing up, I did not even know that animation had an industry, so to speak. All I knew is that we woke up and watch cartoons. And I first saw a comic book. Wow. The question that popped in my head like this: who drew these fine drawings? I did not even know they were called comic books because I got to know the first comic book I saw did not have a paperback. It was a picture of White Cat, a comic of White Cats. The one where you have Grifter and whatnot. So it was Image Comics. So I did not know they were called comic. I just saw it. Okay, I read. In fact, I used to call it cartoon book until I saw another comic that had and saw comic. They have the image with the comic. Oh, so this is what they call a comic. So growing up, I did not know about the industry. I did not know about the industry of comic book until I was in the university. Okay. That was when I knew that, so this is a place, this is a space where they employ people like me to draw, to paint, to letter, to script. Also, that's when I became privy of this. That was 2010.
So how do you compare it with African artists versus the world artist?
In the whole of Africa, Nigeria is as cocky as that might sound. Nigeria is number one in everything in Africa. Every single thing. I mentioned Iwaju. Iwaju is done by Kigali Studios. By default, it is not even originally a Nigerian thing. So I'm from Kenya, but Nigeria is the space where the world will come and see things like that. So they brought it here. So Nigeria is the forerunner of things like that, of geekdom in Africa. But like I said about an hour ago, globally, we are still one of the stars behind.
So what do you think they are doing globally, which you are not doing in Nigeria?
Absolutely nothing. We are doing everything, but they have decades ahead of us. He who starts the race first is most likely going to win.
Exposure?
No, there's not exposure. They have created the exposure. They created the society. They created the community. The community they created has lasted 50, 60. Batman had the 75th anniversary recently. That's a lot. If you are born when Batman was created, you are a grandparent by a long stretch of the world. If you have given birth early, you are a great-grandparent. That's a lot. And until 2000 Lagos had its first Comic-Con. I had finished the university. I had come back from service.
But what about Nigerian artists versus African artists versus the world?
So artists-wise speaking,
keeping yourself in that?
We have
Yes.
a lot of African and Nigeria included artists working in these big companies. So I think we figure out there is this person who was part of the storyboard artist for one of these very big Marvel movies. I checked and I saw the guy, he was credited as storyboard artist for it. There are a lot of them like that. I have somebody too who knows a friend who presently works for Universal, storyboard artist. So Pixel.
I think future is bright for Nigeria.
Yes. So I have somebody who's presently a director of something, but his name is Manga for Nickelodeon. But what percentage of us the reason for which we eventually get known is the amount of us that are there. If you are one India in Kenya, nobody's going to know about India.
It's about your community, how you grow.
So it is when you are enough to form a community, they start taking note of you. That is why Nigeria is still the market where you bring your creativity to, so that the world will come and see. Because when the world is coming to Africa, they are coming to Lagos.
So what is that one thing you want to advise new upcoming artists that you should follow this path so that your career-wise, it's smooth for you? Because you had your own rough times.
Yes. Don't think of your career first. Think of the love of what you have for what you are doing. I never thought of art as a career, but I knew nothing on this planet was going to stop me from doing my art. It never occurred to me. I never woke up one day, I saw myself that, who's going to buy this art? But waking up and not drawing was a crime. In the early 2000s, I fell in love with two things: mathematics and comic book art.
Okay.
I would collect 10 naira from my mother to buy 2A, because then I wanted to become so good in further maths. I would spend the whole morning of my holidays doing further mathematics, polynomials, integration, differentiation, and the likes. Then from afternoon to evening, I would draw. I would save money to go and buy a pack of A4 paper, which until today, say I have 500 clear sheets paper in it. I will finish 500 papers in 2 weeks.
And I think most of the upcoming artists, I think they not try to be original. They try to copy.
We all want money. We are in the world now where everybody's exposed to money. And that is negative. We want to sell our creativity instead of building the creativity. That is why talent is scarce. You have gone to do one graphic design course on YouTube. You've gone to School of Motion. You have done this. They've given certification. You want to start making money the following month. You've been certified. What is the experience you have? If I come to meet you today, if you ask me, can you do this? And I say yes, you first are going to ask me, where is the proof? The thing that validates my proof is the amount of time I have been proving it. You will not give a task to somebody who has spent 10 months and leave somebody who has spent 10 years. It is not possible. Because the chances that this person has made more errors and corrected over 10 years is higher than you. How many errors have you made? How many corrections have you done? Don't think. I have somebody who learns animation under me. I told him that you are going to learn it for 6 weeks. But you are going to have to practice for 2 years non-stop. Every day.
Because every day something new comes up.
Create a new keyframe. Open After Effects every day and create 2 new frames. Keyframe here, move it. Tomorrow, keyframe, move your arc, let it go like this. But please do not stop. So the young creatives, me myself, I'm young because I have a lot of people who have been doing this before I was born. I'm going to give you the format I used. I did not pursue money. Maybe because I was fortunate to be doing one small work that was paying me. I did not want to make, you know how they will tell you, you're not seeing the bigger picture. Stop seeing big pictures. Start dealing with your picture. One grid
after another.
One goddamn pixel after the other until your picture is formed. Stop going back and looking at the big picture. It just makes you discontent with what you have. You are not satisfied with stage art because you are looking at the junior. You have been drawing before you are conceived. Whatever it is, just go with the flow. Go with your flow.
Be original.
Be original. Draw things that you've seen. Do not start looking at your contemporaries as your rivals. Who are you? There are people that cannot draw as half as I can draw, that are making 10,000 times more money than I will ever make. They've an opportunity to be there. They've paid the dues. If you see me 30 years from now collecting $2 million for drawing just one page, you will not be surprised.
One frame.
So, that guy, I remember when we started up, when we did that podcast together, he has been doing this since 30 years ago. It is 30 years ago. They are paying for the experience. So you need to gather the experience. Your portfolio is for experience. That's not the certificate you went to get.
But do you think AI is killing creativity?
What?
AI
AI.
is killing.
AI will never kill creativity. AI is like abacus computer. When they created abacus, it was so that you can count easily. They created AI so that you will not spend so much time doing your thinking. Computer is there to think for you, to not come and craft it for you. We just use ChatGPT to create this thing. Tell ChatGPT to create the comic. Let's see.
But I don't know whether there's an AI to create comic, because there are a lot of AI.
There are AIs to create for you things. The AI will not give you that. What will you tell AI when you say when Odin casted Thor out of Asgard and sent Mjolnir and said into the Mjolnir, he who is found worthy possess the power of Mjolnir. Will you tell AI how to put the thing in the mouth, or how the camera angle to actually picture Mjolnir going to the planet? There are a lot of things you can't tell AI. And AI will not automate. So you can tell AI that create a soldier in the Amazon with the lion head of a lion. We've seen a picture of that plenty.
They will just pick up from the data.
You just get, there's so much prompts, there's so much commands that you can give AI. That is where humanity is going to trump AI. We are limitless in our command prompts.
Okay. So before we wrap up this exciting podcast, there are two things. We mentioned a lot of people. Do you want to give them shout out again?
Shout out to my beautiful wife, Ojetola Abdulafeez. Did I say that wrong? Yes. Ojetola Abdulafeez. Thank you for being strong. Thank you for dealing with me. I know I could be a handful, but you love me still, nonetheless. Shout out to the Prateek. He's been a lovely friend, a lovely boss, a supporting one, as a matter of fact. Shout out to our DOP, shout out to our cameraman, and shout out to all the geeks out there, because nobody shouts us out enough. We have to shout ourselves out. Don't feel like you're a freak. You're unique. Trust me. You know, people used to flaunt the word unique. Unique simply means you are rare. So geeks, they are unique. Stay true to yourself. Be original, like my boss has said. That's it.
So I want to shout out to all the people who have supported us since it is the first episode we are capturing. I want to shout out to two most iconic people who have actually changed the landscape of this thing. One is Stanley.
Stanley.
So shout out to Stanley.
May his soul rest in peace.
Second is Zack Snyder.
Snyder.
So Zack Snyder also, like, he is a visionary, and people don't, people are not in the same frequency
at all
with him.
Oh, and Snyder, so if for one reason, if there's one part of the way you're going to see this, sorry for the loss of your daughter. We, your fans, actually, it pains us till today, but God knows best.
So,
this has been really exciting.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Today is a Sunday, and you traveled all the way from Ibadan.
Yeah, anything to have fun.
So maybe maybe we'll have one more podcast.
We will.
So in that we'll discuss the same topic, but maybe
we'll continue it.
We'll continue it from where we are leaving.
Continue it.
Okay.
It's an endless topic, basically.
Yeah.
So we'll just pick up from here.
So we'll see. Like our cameraman told us, Ezoga, if he can join us. So then, so then this session can
be. Have 3 people. I believe I've had a discussion. The first time we met at Lekki, we had a discussion like that. Me, you, when we went to shoot with Tosin. Me, you, and Tosin and Praise. We were having a conversation around something like this. And this other black nigga, what's this our brother's name? Thank you very much.
So I think we can call Praise next time.
Of course.
And then it can be a sponsored episode by Praise. Okay. So I think let's wrap up.
World. So I think we
and
can
shout out to my dog.
Yeah, so our supervisors.
So he's where are
Ace and Momo.
Momo.
For being so understanding.
Let's call them in the frame. They have been a supportive audience. Come here. Come. Come here. Come. So they have been a supportive audience.
Very supportive.
They did
not swallow our mic.
They did not swallow any mic. They didn't do anything. And Ace doesn't like to be in front of the camera.
He's camera shy.
He's a camera shy guy.
Isn't that just weird?
Yes.
I have a dog who's camera shy.
Okay, so thank you for everyone.
Thank you. Thanks to the cameraman as well.
For listening to our podcast. Hope to
see you in the next episode of our lovely podcast.
And a lot of new episodes are coming up.
Of course, of
So
course.
once we are done with the shooting, we'll start putting it out
Yes. We are cooking. We are cooking.
for you guys.
Yes, we are cooking. No, we are going to serve it for you hot. You are going to enjoy the meal. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Thank